Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at thedove.us.
Well, welcome back to Focus today. I have a question for you. What do you know about fracking? Now, that's okay. If you can't define it, you probably haven't wanted to show what you thought or didn't think of it when you saw it on the news. Well, we're going to find out about fracking so that you'll be the smartest person in the room next time the discussion comes up. And I'm sure it will sometime during that 7-minute lull in a conversation. With us is Karen Moreau. She's the Executive Director of the New York State Petroleum Council, which is part of the American Petroleum Institute. Hey, thanks for being with us, Karen.
Great to be with you.
All right. This isn't the deepest question in the world, but let me ask you, how did we get the word fracking to begin with?
Well, I'm not sure how it evolved. I mean, it refers to a long-time technology called hydraulic fracturing. I don't know who invented the word fracking, but it actually doesn't sound like a very good thing.
Well, I'm fascinated to hear you say that, because we thought, let's see, from a public relations standpoint, would they have gone back and changed the word? I don't know. It does grab your attention, so maybe it actually is a very good word as far as just for that kind of a PR thing. Let me ask you, when somebody wants to know just what is fracking, what do you tell them?
Well, it's hard to explain in a few short sentences, but generally what it is, it's called hydraulic fracturing. And what it is involves the injection, if you will, of water and primarily sand, so 99% water and sand solution, deep under the ground through a well bore. And it's done at high pressure, so you're pushing all this water and sand, and typically you have about 3 chemical additives in that mixture. And the reason for those chemicals is to reduce the friction as that solution is going down deep into the ground, and to also kill some of the bacteria that exists about a mile under the ground in the well pipe. So, and when you push all of this water and sand down there into this horizontal well bore, which has already actually been perforated with tiny holes, it pushes through the holes and into the hard rock formation, and it cracks open the rock. That's the fracturing. And the sand, which is in tiny granules that pushes into these little cracks, actually holds the cracks open. And that allows gas or oil to flow through the cracks into the well pipe and then become pumped up through the vertical well bore and out into the distribution system.
Okay, so fracking can be used either for oil or for natural gas extraction. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. And what is really new isn't so much the fracking, because fracking's been going on in this country for over 60 years. Over 1 million wells have been fracked without a single incident of groundwater contamination. And again, that's not me talking. That's Obama's EPA administrator, formerly Lisa Jackson. That's present administrator Gina McCarthy. But bottom line is, what has made this shale gas and oil revolution possible is the combination of horizontal drilling with hydraulic fracturing. And that's why we are now able to reach hard shale formations over a mile under the ground and identify where these formations are and economically extract the oil and gas, to the point where today almost 70% of the oil and gas produced in this country is done using this type of technology of fracking with horizontal drilling.
Okay, so it's not something new. We've been doing it for a long time, and yet I have a feeling that the opponents of it are saying this is not a good thing, almost giving the idea that it's a new concept that hasn't been proven. But you're saying it actually has.
It actually has, and again, it's also highly regulated. It's been regulated for many years by the states, and actually certain aspects of energy development are also regulated by the federal government. What is, I think, made the difference and why it's been much more in the forefront among the media and the public is because we are now seeing much more development potential in places we didn't see it before. For example, Pennsylvania in the Northeast and New York, where I'm from, are states where we have actually had a history of oil and gas development, but nowhere near at the level of the western states or Texas or Oklahoma, for example. So because we're now able to produce this in these deep shale formations in places like upstate New York and in northern Pennsylvania, the places where people never really thought about it before, it's happening or it could be happening. And so I think that's why the public is thinking this is something new. Mm. So when you actually go on well sites, and I've toured a number of drilling and fracking operations in Northeast Pennsylvania, and I talked to guys that have been doing this for 25, 30 years, they're very bewildered at what all the fuss is about, because it's not new to them.
So it's because it's becoming more popular that now this campaign of concern, I guess you'd say, has been raised.
Right. So I guess on one level, it's a campaign of concern because it's something people just are not familiar with. But also, and you asked me originally, the word fracking, where did it come from? Well, I can tell you, it didn't come from the energy industry. It came from people who are opposed to fracking. Mm. And, there's so much that goes into development of language and words. So the sense that it doesn't sound very good, there's a reason for that. And the reason is that there are those in this country who are, for one reason or another, opposed to fossil fuel development. And they have identified fracking as a way to scare people and to also, and many of them, again, happen to be environmental groups that raise money from contributors, they've kind of figured out that it's been a really big money maker for them. So it does serve their interest to kind of keep this fear-mongering campaign going. And, it's, call me cynical, but I've seen it.
Yeah. Well, when I hear the word, I don't think of it necessarily as a negative. I mean, I look at it for what it is. I just find it a fascinating word. And I suppose for those who, like yourself, who are looking at it saying, hey, it's a safe thing, if you can champion the word and turn it around to be a positive, then I suppose it can end up being that as well. Let me ask you, the alternative to horizontal drilling, which is fracking, and you mentioned the details of it, is the other alternative more the old style well drilling? You just go top down and keep going down till you find something?
Yes. And when the old style, what we call conventional gas development, conventional oil development, it would involve just a vertical well bore. And sometimes it would involve fracturing, depending on what type of geologic formation you were moving into. But the fact of the matter is, for example, from the surface and from the point of construction of wells, with one deep horizontal well from one location on the surface, say in an area that's the size of a small football field or a football field, we can do what historically, under old ways, would have required 32 wells to do. So we can reduce the actual surface impact and draw the same amount of resource that it would have taken us 32 different attempts to do before. So that's where the economics comes in. That's why most of the development you're seeing today is being done using this combination of hydraulic fracturing with horizontal drilling. And so many entrepreneurs actually have gotten involved in the whole process in improving constantly the technologies involved, everywhere from people who develop the testing equipment, who develop water recycling equipment, because fracking does involve water. And the point is, we want to use the water that we're using to frack a well over and over again. So that brings in recycling. And so if you have hundreds of companies now, from little mom and pop operations to the likes of General Electric, GE, heavily involved in the entire testing and water filtration and recycling phase of this business. So it's very complex. In some ways it's complex. In other ways it's very simple. Once you learn about it, you realize it's not that, unusual, if you will. And you apply common sense and some understanding of physics. But the point is that so many jobs, so much opportunity has been created with this shale gas and oil revolution that we're looking at a situation in this country where over 30 states are doing this, where we're finding more discoveries every day in places that can be developed that historically were not. And we're seeing tremendous job creation. Pennsylvania alone, in the last 5 or 6 years, over 240,000 jobs as a result of this energy revolution.
Wow, that's great. I hate to say it, but we've only hit the surface of fracking, no pun intended. Karen, thank you for being with us. Maybe we can have you back to talk more in depth about this. Appreciate you letting us know. I think this is a good start to the whole discussion. And I suppose if we go to the American Petroleum Institute, we can find out more about this, right?
Yes,
online.
Go to energyfromshale.org.
Energyfromshale.org. Okay. Thanks. Karen Moreau, the Executive Director of the New York State Petroleum Council, is with us, for being with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll have more coming up on Focus Today.